It's Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, Israel launches biggest air attack on West Bank in nearly 2 decades. The Israeli government has launched a substantial military operation in the West Bank, the largest in 2 decades, centering on a refugee camp in the city of Jenin, which it says is serving as a base of operations for fighters who have carried out and are planning future attacks inside Israel. Information released by the Israeli Defense Forces indicates that at least 50 attacks against Israeli citizens over the past few months originated in Jenin, where a refugee camp built in 1953 to hold displaced Palestinians is now controlled by the Palestinian Authority, which is reportedly unable to control militant groups operating in the area. On July 3rd, around 1,000 Israeli soldiers stormed Jenin, aided by drone strikes, killing at least 8 people and injuring around 80. About 3,000 people have since been evacuated from the refugee camp. Israeli officials have indicated that they'll be sticking around until they destroy the infrastructure and weaponry being used by the militants to conduct their attacks, and a car ramming and stabbing attack in Tel Aviv has injured at least 6 people and is possibly linked to the Jenin operation. From the Financial Times, India's richest man launches $12 internet-connected phone. Mukesh Ambani, India's richest man and the owner of Reliance Industries, a conglomerate that dabbles in everything from energy products to textiles to telecommunications services, has announced a new feature phone that will cost 999 rupees, which is about $12. Reliance Jio, the core of Ambani's telecommunications empire, has semi-regularly disrupted the Indian mobile phone and internet industries since 2016, when it introduced free and cheap data and voice plans to the country. Feature phones are a bit like less capable smartphones, usually lacking touchscreens, which makes them a lot easier to produce and a bit more resilient, which is part of why around 20% of India's mobile data subscribers still use such devices instead of pricier and more fragile smartphones. Most Indian feature phone users, though, are limited to pre-3G connectivity, which means a mostly text-based online experience, and this new cheap phone is meant to bring them into the modern internet fold, giving them an inexpensive device capable of 4G connectivity, alongside an inexpensive 14 gigabyte per month data plan, which compares favorably to a more expensive data plan offered by its competition, which is limited to just 2 gigabytes. And from the Wall Street Journal, China restricts exports of 2 minerals used in high-performance chips. The Chinese government has announced new export restrictions on gallium and germanium, 2 minerals that are necessary for the production of advanced microchips. This would seem to be a counter-move by China, responding to a recently announced collection of enhanced trade restrictions on chip-related goods and services by the United States and its allies against China. The U.S. reportedly has an advantage over China in various artificial intelligence-related fields right now, and it hopes to maintain and increase that lead by cutting China off from the tools and resources it requires to build the powerful supercomputers necessary to do the most advanced kind of AI work and research. This collection of restrictions is similar to those the U.S. is applying towards trade with China, in that they are only as potent as their enforcement, which means both sides have the opportunity to allow trade to occur when they want, but to also cut off that trade whenever they like by enforcing these limitations more sternly, which would seem to allow wiggle room for everyone involved if relations between these governments start to improve. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.